Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very special occasion. That is online presentation. Our group will explain about Pidgin and Creole. As we know, Pidgin and Creole cannot be separated. They are connected each other. From Pidgin, we know that a group in a country can make Creole new language. For example, like Hawaii, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, or even most of country in Africa. And from Creole, if it is used for daily communication or social communication from generation to generation, so many years, it can be a native or maybe official language. To know more about these two kind of linguistic aspects, please get attention to my explanation, and I will try to explain about the Pidgin and then Creole definition first. What is Pidgin language actually? From the presentation, we know that Pidgin English is not a mother language and it can be the second language. I mean the second language, it can be used for several years and then from generation to generation, and it can be called Creole. Pidgin means communication that develop between two or more groups that do not have a language in common. And there are the characteristics of the Pidgin language. First one, descended from English, but it is not English. And the second one, no native speakers in Pidgin language. And then as lingua franca by people who have no other language in common, and it arises quickly for functional communication. Functional communication, it means that Pidgin only used in certain situations, certain time, for example, like when in colonial era. And it has limited vocabulary, grammar, and often drawn by several languages. And the last one, it compromises two or more languages. And how did Pidgin language develop in certain country? Pidgin is influenced by many factors and situations. That situation, for example, like world trade or colonial era, where one country come to another country or even continent. From that situation, we know that several groups will dominating other groups. For example, like the colonials dominating the other groups, they came to expand their territorial government or doing trading. And then from that situation, certain situation, there is example in this around 17th until 19th century, where the colonial era happened. There are so many situations using Pidgin English, like in the many people for other country were hired as slaves in colonial era in the Caribbean regional, operated by Great Britain, Spain, France, and Dutch. The slaves came from so many different countries. They spoke in different countries, in different languages, and then they were difficult to communicate each other in daily activities. So they make and adapt the dominating language from the colonials, for example, like English, to make a new language. It is called Pidgin. And then that's why, according to R.L. Truss and Peter Stockwell from the book entitled Language and Linguistics, the Key Concept in 2007, they stated that Pidgin cannot automatically appear, but it is nobody's mother tongue, and it is no real language. It has no elaborate grammar, and it is very limited in what it can convey, and different people speak it differently. And Pidgin can make communication more simpler and being understood by many people in that certain country. That's why Pidgin only understood in a certain community in a certain country, and it cannot be used as a native or official or maybe international language such as English. And so what is Creole? Creole is appeared from Pidgin. We can be called like Pidgin will become a Creole if it is used for daily activity so many years. From homes in 1992, a Creole is a Pidgin which has expanded its structure and vocabulary to express the range of meaning and serve the range of function required of a first language. And there are some characteristics of Creole language that come from Pidgin. First, it usually starts as a Pidgin, of course. Second, it becomes children's native language. This means children's native language if the Pidgin, the first process of the language, is used so many years from generation to generation as daily communication, and it is used for native or official language such as Tok Pisin in Papua New Guinea or Hawaiian. And then now I will explain about example of the Pidgin English that become Creole. For example, like in Papua New Guinea. What are countries that using Pidgin? Out of our expectation that there are many countries using Pidgin. For example, Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea, and then Hawaiian Pidgin English, Nigerian Pidgin English, Chinese, India, Queensland, and Bislama, and so many countries in the world. And the first example is Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is using Tok Pisin as one of the official language which become from Pidgin English. Many English words were adapted into their social communication. People in Papua New Guinea are using Tok Pisin, and Tok Pisin is one of the lingua franca there because there are so many different languages are spoken in there. More than 800 languages spoken in Papua New Guinea. And then example of Tok Pisin English in Papua New Guinea, like this is the example, like place, we know as place, home, village, origin, and close to, it means close. Devil, it means devil. Soul, bad soul or shadow. And Christmas, it means Christmas, Christmas Eve, or human age. For example, like the sentence, you got Hamas Christmas, it means how old are you? And me got 10 Christmas, it means I am 10 years old. And Pidgin language in Papua New Guinea is not only adapted from English. There are some examples that Pidgin from Germany and then Pidgin from Malay. For example, like Pidgin in Germany, Rausim, it means raus. Raus in Germany means to remove or out. And Gummi, Gummi, it means rubber in Germany. And Maski, in Germany, it means Machnach. It doesn't matter in English. And then from Malay, our language, Bahasa Indonesia, Papua New Guinea adapted some words, for example, like susu. Susu means susu, milk from cow. And Pidgin from another country in Papua New Guinea, like Portuguese. And that's all for my role presentation. The next presentation will be delivered by my partner Nabiela. They will explain more about the example about Pidgin and Creole English. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gabby. You have explained more about Pidgin and also Creoles. That I will continue your presentation about that. Friends, we know that Gabby has explained many things about Pidgin and also Creoles. She has explained the definition and also the origin and also the characteristic in Pidgin and also Creoles. We know from Gabby that Pidgin and Creoles cannot spirit it to put that. Okay, after Gabby give an example about that, like she has give us talk Pidgin, and then now I will give you some examples, more examples. But before I give you more examples from the other countries, I will show you about the frequently cited Pidgin, Creoles, and mixed language. That is the maps. You know that the location of the where is the talk Pidgin, where is the Chinese Pidgin, English, and etc. Okay, the first thing is Hawaiian Pidgin English. We know that history of Hawaiian Pidgin English. Hawaiian Pidgin evolved from the sugar industry, which began at the mid 1860s on Maui. Immigrant workers from China, Japanese, and also Portuguese came in waves from different countries to work in the sugarcane fields. And those languages that continued to evolve as waves of Okinawans, Puerto Ricans, Koreans, and Filipinos arrived around 1900 Hawaiian Pidgin. And then this is the example of the word or the sentence that utterance from the Hawaiian Pidgin and Creoles. That's why the English meaning is that is the reason. But you, are you disturbed by this? Broke the moth, and then broke the moth, absolutely delicious. Darken, the kind, the cute, oh how precious. Give them, and etc. like that. And then more better. You going out with Ronnie, why you think they call him Hans Hazawa? More better you go out with one octopus. Bagaho, fish sauce, Filipino hampa. Bakatade, kukololo. And then bambuka, big, also used to mean certain parts of the body, but only when they are big. And then banana, whole field, oriental, yellow on the outside, white on the inside. And then the next is about Pidgin English in Nigeria. Many of the 260 or more ethnic groups in Nigeria can converse in the language, though they usually have their own additional words. For example, the Yorubas use the words sebi and abi when speaking Pidgin. Againya tried to be a good nurse, attentive but not cloying, fetching me a stool to use while I patted from a bucket and patting my head as a napped, saying, "Pen you well in shooting Pidgin." Mary Helen Spetch, how could I embrace a village? The New York Times. And then the Pidgin Nigerian and also the English meaning like before. Sabi you dey come or you dey come a bee. You are coming right. Now man, that's hard, no bees man. Man, the test was very hard. And etc. You can read by yourself like that. The difference from the English and the Pidgin Nigerian. And then this is the notice in campus. Pidgin is a lingua franca good only for non-academic environments. Do not use it on campus by order. So this is the Pidgin and English meaning. Before that, come out, let's go. Pokin, lemuna, child. Hauna, how are you? Hauna, how are you? Then is about Chinglish or Chinese Pidgin English. Originated as lingua franca for trade between British and Chinese people. Okay, then this is warning. Warning: children under 6 years old cannot allow sleep on the up floor of bed. And then also in the note, please check if the Then Chinglish again, superb animal has already that. Also like that, one step ahead to the civilization. Okay, then. Okay, the next is about Jamaican language. Jamaican language, it's also can we say that patois. Okay, the introduction about Jamaica's language. The Jamaica's official language is English. So the official is English. And then English is the written language in Jamaica. Then the Jamaica does have its own language apart from English, known as patois. Patois is the conversational language, then written, that we know because the written patois is the written Jamaica use English like that. Then the basic word in patois, like before the English, the patois, so like that. The English, we know that N in patois is just N. In English, brother. In patois is breda, car, care, child, picnic, down, evening, friend, give me, like that. Just and then English patois less, me, mother, mother, never. Okay, then simple conversation in patois along with English translation. Okay, the first example is in patois, what happens you? In English translation is what's happening you? And then the second example is me no, we that, we that, where that there. I don't know where that is it. And then the example that patois, where you there? The English translation is where are you? And then patois, what go on? In English translation, what's going on? Then patois, me I go over this. In English, I'm going over there. In the example 6, patois, me soon come. In English translation, I'll be there soon. Okay, maybe that's all from us about the presentation about Creole and also Pidgin. Thank you. Bye bye.